Hi, thank you so much for joining me for the acronym explanation series. My name is Jen, and I'm on a healing journey breaking free from the destructive patterns of disordered eating and embracing a nourishing lifestyle. I am using an original acronym of the word Nourisher to help guide my healing process. And in this series, I'm going to take a deep dive into each of the letters of the Nourisher acronym in order to explain it to you further. So thank you for joining me, and let's dig in. Hi, thank you so much for joining me now as I unpack the letter O in my Nourisher acronym. And the letter O stands for Open Up to Others. Now, this opening up to others is a critical piece of my healing journey and an incredibly difficult piece. If we go back to the letter N, which is notice emotions, I've shared that as part of this journey, it is being very apparent to me that I was not aware of my emotions, and nor was I able to identify them, let alone express them to someone else. So it can be a very, very challenging thing to take this, what can feel like a battle that is being fought in my heart and in my mind, where I feel trapped, I feel weak, I feel defeated, I feel disgusted with myself, and then to be able to take that and open up that rawness to someone else can feel intolerable and excruciating, especially for myself and for many of us with disordered eating who are people pleasers or who just cannot imagine handling conflict in a healthy way. So this has been very, very critical as part of my healing journey. And I want to read from the book, To Eat or Not to Eat, this beautiful passage that talks about why this is such a critical element. So let me read this to you. It says that if we are trying to read self-help books and do online programs without ever extending this help to human contact and a therapeutic relationship that honors our past, we can only achieve limited recovery. Let me press pause there. They have looked, and statistically, people who suffer from disordered eating typically are very intelligent, and often I certainly have tried to attack this problem cognitively and intellectually, reading books, trying to educate myself about the process. And what I'm learning is that that is of some benefit, but mostly where that is a benefit is helping me to minimize symptoms. So when we think to what we'll talk about next, which is understanding the eating disorder cycle, we can learn about it. I can learn about it. I can try to figure out ways to stop binging, to eat healthier, to not restrict as much, all of these different kind of things. But all it does is help me manage the symptoms, and it doesn't get to the heart of why I'm doing these behaviors, and ultimately never helps me find freedom from this cycle until I open up to others and go through this difficult work of doing the work at a heart level, both spiritually and emotionally, in order to get to the roots of it. Let me continue to read. They go on to quote Alice Miller, who is a Polish-born Swiss psychiatrist, who says that we all need an enlightened witness. And about an enlightened witness, they say this: we need someone who allows us the space to explore the true emotions which are stored in our body about our past, our upbringing, and our pain. We need to experience love for the child that we once were, and this is not possible without someone there to soften the often ruthless opinion that we hold of ourselves. We've come to believe that reaching out is a sign of weakness. However, our struggle with food and our body can tell us that these beliefs are to our own detriment. So often, myself included, I believe, those with eating disorders believe that recovery needs to have two components. One, that we can do it alone, and two, that we can do it quickly. And I am learning that those two are the farthest things from the truth, that this healing needs to happen in community. The disordered patterns we got them in community, so we need to unlearn them and receive healing in community. And also that the process is slow and the process takes time, and we need incredible patience and tolerance to be able to go through that process. I also wanted to note, in regards to this idea of others, what does healthy relationships look like? What is it that we're striving for in healthy relationships? And to this, I have been really helped and impressed by the work of Dr. Sue Johnson, who is the creator of a therapeutic approach called emotionally focused therapy that has been wildly successful with marriage relationships and couples, but also now is being extended to full family relationships. And what she says is that we are hardwired to do relationships. So we are hardwired to need one another, which I believe also in my Christian faith is a biblical truth. And in this hardwiring, we are always kind of subconsciously in that attachment center of our brains, we're always asking the question, are you there for me? Are you there for me? Will you be there for me? And she uses the acronym R for Are You There For Me, the letters ARE, to talk about when they do find couples or families that have really strong bonds. What they notice is they notice these three things. One, they notice that the person is accessible, or the relationships are accessible. Now, these days, of course, we're always accessible to each other, right? We have all of these devices, we're online constantly, we can't go anywhere without being accessible to each other. But actually, accessibility is very difficult. Right now, to get someone's attention driven away from their phone and on one person specifically, where you know that they will be there for me, they are there for me, I can reach out to them and they will respond to me, is very challenging. And myself included, I have a very difficult time offering that to other people, and I want to nurture that and be available more and more and turn off the to-do list in my brain in order to truly be present with other people. The R stands for responsive. Is the person emotionally responsive to you? Or are you able to be emotionally responsive to that person? So for example, if you were to come back home and to say that you had been laid off for your job, a responsive person would hold that pain with you, would explore it, and would allow you the opportunity to both process that emotion as well as shoulder that emotion together with you. That person would not say, hand you a piece of cheesecake to drown out your pain. They would not say, oh, don't worry, or they would not, speak horribly and badly about your boss to try to kind of put the blame on them. They also would not say, oh, well, when I lost my job, and turn the spotlight on them. So what we really need is to find therapeutic relationships and also cultivate relationships within our loved ones and our groups that are emotionally attuned and responsive to one another. The E stands for engaged. And engaged, this speaks to me more of that idea of delight or enjoyment, where it's someone who truly delights in you, enjoys being with you. There's mutual respect, appreciation, there's fun together, there's a sense of adventure, there's this idea of intimacy in a really enjoyable attraction kind of way. And these things can be cultivated, even if they have been, quote unquote, lost. So all that to say is not that we're looking for the perfect people to share with and, checking off whether or not this is a person who is safe or truly is someone who could hold my pain with me. But I want to, in greater and greater degrees, become the type of person who is accessible, recognize that the emotional incapacities that underpin my own eating disorder make it very difficult for me to be responsive to others, or sometimes make me hyper able to be responsive to others while not being able to divulge my own emotional realities and rawness and allow other people to be responsive to me in that way. And also that the engagement part, sometimes it can be very difficult to just truly delight and appreciate and be hopeful together with people when we're so trapped in our own minds and in the problems that our brain is trying to solve in relation to our disordered relationship with food. So not only do I want to build these healthy communities, I want to be a healthy person for other people. And I know more and more that I need to learn to find safe and healthy people to share the rawness inside of me as a critical piece to my healing journey.